These 20-car features are killing your car's reliability quicker than you think. Car companies love to market them as cutting-edge upgrades. But after digging through over 300 service records, mechanic reports, and driver complaints, one thing stood out. These features aren't helping. They're the first to fail. From glitchy touchscreens, turbos that fail way too soon, even gear shifters that leave people confused during emergencies. And yes, one of these features is already being removed from 2025 models due to safety concerns. If you want to avoid unexpected repairs and thousand bills, don't skip this. Let's dive in. Feature number 20, engine start-stop systems. Turning off your engine at every red light might sound smart, right? It saves gas and reduces emissions. But here's the reality. Start-stop systems are punishing your car every time they kick in. They drain your battery, put added stress on your starter, and reduce oil pressure. Right when your engine needs it most in traffic or during cold weather, it only gets worse. According to Consumer Reports, vehicles equipped with these systems burn through batteries 40% faster. Some even require pricey AGM or EFB batteries just to handle the load. And that frustrating delay when the light turns green, that's your engine struggling to start back up. But here's what most drivers don't realize. This feature wasn't made for you. These systems weren't designed to save you money. They were built to help manufacturers meet strict government emissions regulations. So what should you do? Turn it off, or better yet, disable it permanently. Just make sure to check your warranty first. Feature number 19, haptic controls. Car companies love showing off touchscreens and haptic panels like they're doing you a favor. But here's the truth. They replace something simple and dependable with something distracting, unreliable, and more expensive to fix down the road. This isn't innovation, it's digital nonsense. Remember when turning up the volume just meant twisting a knob? Now volume, climate, and navigation are all buried behind swipes and taps. Miss your touch and you're blasting the AC instead of zooming in on the map, all while flying 80 mph down the freeway. And that flashy virtual cockpit, it looks futuristic in ads, but in real life, it lags, freezes, and crashes. When it fails, it's not just your music that's gone. You lose your backup camera, climate control, sometimes even your speedometer. And repairs, forget it. If you're out of warranty, you're out of luck. These screens don't last as long as the buttons they replaced either. Touchscreens didn't upgrade your drive. They sabotaged it. And just when you think that's bad, wait until you see what automakers remove from your trunk. Feature number 18, tire mobility kit. There was a time when popping the trunk meant finding a full-size spare tire, ready for anything. Now most new cars hand you a can of sealant and a tiny air compressor. Automakers claim it's all about saving weight and improving fuel economy. But let's be honest, it's really just cost-cutting at your expense. Because when your tire blows out on the highway, that kit won't do a thing for a torn sidewall or anything worse than a small nail puncture. And if you're far from help, you're stuck. No spare, no real backup, just a patch kit that might work if you're lucky. What used to take 5 minutes now turns into a 3-hour wait for roadside assistance. Even worse, that sealant can wreck your tire pressure sensors and make the tire completely unrepairable. Now you're not just buying a new tire, you're also paying for the tow bill. This isn't about convenience. It's about saving the automaker money while leaving you with the bill. Think that was a flat idea? Just wait till you see the next feature that'll make you question what's even under your hood these days. Feature number 17, cramped engine bays. Modern engine compartments aren't just tight, they're downright suffocating. To save space and keep designs looking sleek, automakers now wedge in sensors, wiring, belts, and pipes into spaces that barely exist. Need to replace a belt? You might have to remove the engine cover, swapping a headlight bulb. Some models require taking off the entire bumper. It's not just annoying, it's costly. Mechanics charge more because they spend more time getting to the parts than actually fixing them. What used to be a 30-minute job now takes hours, and your repair bill can easily double. For DIYers, it's a nightmare. Even basic repairs feel like surgery. And all that tight packaging, it traps heat, which wears out components faster and turns small issues into major problems. It might look sleek from the outside, but under the hood, it's a complete mess. Feature number 16, steering wheel controls. They were meant to make driving easier, but somewhere along the line, steering wheel buttons turned into a chaotic mess. You've got toggles, scroll pads, and random buttons all squeezed into a tiny space, and the layout completely random. Volume adjusts side to side. Track changes go up and down. Or is it the other way around? Depends on the car, depends on the software. Some buttons sit right where your thumb rests. Others make you stretch like you're doing finger gymnastics just to skip a track. And even if your eyes leave the road for just a split second while searching, that's not safer. That's an accident waiting to happen. Use them often, and they age poorly too. Buttons get sticky, inputs lag, and sometimes they just stop working entirely. A feature that was supposed to make driving easier has now become just another thing to fix. And just when you thought your hands were safe, the next feature turns even locking your car into a risky move. Feature number 15, keyless entry. It sounds like a convenience. Walk up, press a button, and you're ready to drive. But honestly, this upgrade creates more problems than it fixes. First off, where do you even keep the fob? There's no ignition slot or proper place for it, so it just drifts around your pocket or bag like a forgotten coin. Now, instead of misplacing a simple key, you're losing a tiny $400 device that controls your entire car. Drop it, crack it, or lose signal, and good luck starting your vehicle. Then there's the theft risk. These systems are a goldmine for tech-savvy criminals. Relay attacks and key cloning happen all the time. Push to start sounds cool until your car vanishes from the driveway. No broken window or alarm triggered. And here's the irony. Old-fashioned keys still work perfectly. No hacking or fuss. Just turn and drive. Next up, this feature doesn't just unlock trouble, it lands it right in your lap. Feature number 14, button shift knobs. In a world where quick reflexes and instinct are everything, hunting for a gear button feels like trying to solve a puzzle at the worst possible moment. These setups feel awkward, especially when you're in a hurry. You end up thinking more about shifting than actually driving. Miss the gear and you might launch into traffic or, worse, into someone's bumper. Take Chevy's dial shifter, for example. It's become a fan favorite for complaints. Drivers dislike it. It's not quick, it's not intuitive, and it adds stress when split-second decisions matter most. And let's talk about comfort. Many drivers naturally rest their hand on the shifter with buttons or dials. There's nothing to hold on to, nothing to guide your muscle memory. Sure, it frees up space on the console, but at what cost? You lose tactile feedback, you lose mechanical simplicity, and most of all, you lose muscle memory. These new designs rely heavily on electronics, which is great, until a sensor fails or a circuit shorts out. Traditional shift knobs worked for decades without all the headaches. This confusion is just change for the sake of change, and reliability ends up paying the price. If buttons confuse you, just wait until you see the next smart idea packed with even more chaos. Feature number 13, turbocharged engines. Turbo engines run hot, really hot. That extra boost pushes more pressure through every part, gaskets, seals, pistons, and cooling systems. And when one weak link fails, the entire system pays the price. You're not just driving with more power, you're driving with extra stress under the hood. More parts, more heat, more chances of something going wrong. Repairs can get expensive, fast. Some turbos hold up well. Toyota's 2.4L, Honda's K20C, Mazda's Skyactiv, and a few from Subaru, BMW, and Volkswagen. But those are the exceptions, not the rule. Most turbocharged engines wear out quicker, require more upkeep, and when they fail, it's not quiet. Naturally aspirated engines are simpler, more reliable, and built to last. Turbos might feel fast right now, but over time they often sacrifice durability for speed, leaving you with costly repairs when the boost fades. And it only gets worse. Coming up next is a feature that literally shuts off part of your engine while you're still driving. Feature number 12, cylinder deactivation. This feature is marketed as a fuel-saving magic. You shut down a few cylinders while cruising to save gas. Sounds smart until your engine starts misfiring, burning oil, or wearing out lifters. Ram's 5.7L Hemi has lifter issues directly linked to this system. GM's 5.3L and 6.2L V8s are even worse. Their AFM setups are notorious for complete lifter failure, sometimes before hitting $50,000 mi. When that happens, you're not just swapping parts, you're often replacing the entire engine, costing $3,500 or more. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Honda's VCM and Mazda's Skyactiv systems are less aggressive and generally safer. But even then, the fuel savings are minor and the risks remain. Here's the kicker. The fuel savings aren't game-changing. What you save at the pump might end up costing you twice as much at the repair shop. A good engine should run smooth and consistent, not switch on and off mid-drive like it's confused. Speaking of engines playing tricks, next up is one that literally gets gummed up just for being efficient. Feature number 11, direct injection. This system sprays fuel directly into the cylinder, bypassing the intake valves completely. It sounds efficient, but it cuts out the natural cleaning action that traditional port injection provides. The result, thick carbon buildup on the valves over time. That buildup doesn't go over well. It restricts airflow, causes rough idling, misfires, and eventually kills your engine's performance. And here's the catch. Fuel system cleaners can't fix it. The gunk isn't in the fuel lines, it's baked right onto the valves. Fixing it isn't cheap either. You'll need a walnut blasting service, an expensive process that literally shoots crushed shells into the engine to scrape away the grime. Some brands use a combination of port and direct injection to avoid this issue, and that's your safest bet, but many don't. So while direct injection sounds like a high-tech win, it can quietly destroy your engine's health. The savings at the pump don't matter when you're spending thousands to clean what fuel can't. Now brace yourself. Coming up next is a feature that's not just jerky. It might stall your entire drive. Feature number 10, electronic parking brakes. What happened to the good old classic handbrake? Nowadays, most cars swap out the lever for a button. It sounds modern, but there's a cost. Electronic parking brakes depend on motors and sensors to operate. If they fail, you're stuck. Literally, the brake can lock up, leaving your car frozen in place. Or worse, it might not hold on a hill. Some systems fail while driving, others won't release in freezing weather. Repairs aren't cheap either. A faulty motor or module can set you back hundreds. On top of that, many shops hesitate to work on them because you need special tools just to reset the system after brake repairs. And don't forget, if your battery dies, your brake might too, potentially leaving you stranded in the worst possible spot. Traditional handbrakes gave you control. You could feel when they engaged. This new setup, it hides problems until it's too late. Sure, it looks cool but reliable, not even close. Feature number 9, dual clutch transmissions. Dual clutch systems were designed for performance cars, offering fast shifts, better fuel economy, and no clutch pedal. Sounds perfect until reality sets in. But in everyday driving, they're clunky, jerky, and prone to hesitation in stop-and-go traffic. Parking turns into a frustrating dance you never signed up for, and the reliability far from reassuring. Ford's PowerShift has a notorious reputation, and Hyundai and Kia's DCTs have their own growing list of issues. When these transmissions fail, and many do, it's not a quick or cheap fix. These systems are complicated, costly, and not something you want to tackle yourself. A replacement can run anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500. Performance fans might tolerate the quirks, but for regular drivers, it's overcomplicating things with little real-world upside. A good transmission should be invisible. This one constantly reminds you it's there, usually at the worst possible time. And if you're not tracking laps on the weekend, skip the DCT. It's more hassle than it's worth, and it doesn't age well. Coming up next is a transmission that skips gears entirely and still manages to slip. Feature number 8, continuously variable transmissions. Designed to offer smooth gearless driving, CVTs, ironically, have a reputation for making cars show up on the least reliable lists, especially among Nissan owners. Instead of traditional gears, CVTs use a belt and pulley system. Sounds clever until they start slipping, overheating, or simply failing. Nissan's Jatco CVTs are the biggest culprits, turning once solid models into repair-heavy nightmares. It's not just Nissan, though. Older CVTs from Subaru, Honda, and Mitsubishi face their own issues. Jerky shifts, lagging responses, and early breakdowns. When they fail, it's not a quiet death. They hit your wallet hard. Replacements are costly and repairs are rarely fast. To be fair, some makers have improved. Today's CVTs from Toyota and Honda are more dependable, but the damage to consumer trust remains very real. Now, hybrid eCVTs are a different story. They're solid. But if you're buying a gas-only vehicle and CCVT listed, beware. And if that smoothness sounded good on paper, just wait until your suspension drains your budget. Feature number 7, air suspension systems. This feature swaps out traditional coil springs for rubber bladders and a compressor. The ride feels smooth and cloud-like, but the reality is you're just one leak away from disaster. A tiny puncture and your car sags like it pulled an all-nighter. The compressor goes into an overdrive panic, working overtime until it burns out too. Next thing you know, your bank account drops faster than your suspension. Repairs aren't just costly, they trigger a domino effect. One part fails and the whole system joins the breakdown party. Bladders, sensors, valves, they all take turns quitting on you. You might hear hissing, groaning, or random creaks when rolling over bumps. Self-leveling and adaptive air systems aren't any better. Flashy, yes, but just as high maintenance and grumpy. Sure, air suspension feels amazing until it doesn't. And when it fails, it doesn't whisper, it collapses. So before chasing that floaty ride, ask yourself, do you want to glide now or pay big later? Definitely not. Coming up next, see how this feature takes the wheel and fights you for control. Feature number 6, driver assist. It starts with a gentle nudge, maybe a beep, then suddenly the wheel jerks like your car thinks it knows better than you. These so-called driver assist systems are overly sensitive, often inaccurate, and downright irritating. What should be a simple lane change turns into a wrestling match, and a tiny piece of road debris can send the system into full panic mode. Most drivers already know how to stay in their lane, relying on quick decisions and real-world instincts. Meanwhile, the computer reacts to lines, blips, and guesses. Instead of building confidence, it adds stress, making you second-guess every move like an overbearing backseat driver. And when the sensors fail, replacing or recalibrating them becomes a real headache. These systems aren't just distracting. They add needless complexity, increase long-term maintenance risks, and chip away at your car's reliability. Until fully autonomous driving becomes a reality, driver assist systems just aren't worth the hassle. Feature number 5, glass roofs. Installing glass on the roof of a car doesn't add much beyond a trendy look. The main benefit is just a nice view of the sky. It doesn't open, it doesn't vent. It simply sits there looking good while slowly turning your cabin into a sauna. Sunshades barely help. On a hot day, you're basically driving under a giant heat lamp. Sure, it brightens the interior and gives passengers something to look at, but do you really need a sunroof that you can't even use? Especially one that adds weight, weakens structural rigidity, and drives up repair costs. Now let's talk about danger. In a rollover accident, that huge sheet of glass becomes a dangerous hazard. Reinforced frame or not, broken glass can send shards flying where you don't want them. And when it cracks or leaks, which happens frequently, you're facing a costly specialized repair. It may look sleek, but long-term it drains comfort, hurts reliability, and wears years off your car's interior quality. If fresh air is what you want, a true sunroof or convertible always beats it. If that was too hot to handle, just wait. This next premium feature turns your cabin into a Vegas nightclub. Feature number 4, ambient lighting. Manufacturers sell it as a premium feature that adds comfort and style, but in reality it just creates clutter and chaos. The novelty fades quickly, and before you know it, your dashboard looks like a never-ending kids' party. At night, it gets even worse. Rather than promoting calm and focus, you get pulsing lights flickering all over the cabin. They don't improve visibility and definitely don't help concentration. Some systems even change colors with music or drive modes, which is more distracting than stylish. Some drivers report feeling drowsy or zoned out, while others just turn it off and pretend it never existed. Even worse, this feature adds extra electrical parts that are prone to failure over time. Broken LED strips, faulty dimmer, and buzzing control units all lead to expensive, unnecessary repairs. It doesn't boost performance or extend your car's lifespan. It just sucks power, invites distraction, and turns your vehicle into a rolling arcade. Need a laugh? Your car might even start parking itself. Next, feature number 3, auto parking assistance systems. We've been parking cars for centuries without technology holding our hand. Now suddenly your car wants to do it for you. Sounds cool until it isn't. Auto parking may seem convenient in tight spots, but for most drivers, it's more gimmick than gamesure. We already know how to parallel park. Adding a complicated system just adds another thing that can fail. And when it does, you're stuck depending on a feature you never really needed. Here's the catch. It doesn't make you a better driver. It makes you a dependent one. The more your car thinks for you, the duller your skills become. Parking is a basic task. Give it up and you slowly lose touch with the fundamentals. Now imagine it goes wrong. Your car scrapes another vehicle. Who's responsible? You, the software, or the dealership? It's not improving safety. It's weakening your skill, adding expense, and creating liability. If parking's become a high-tech gamble, maybe we're better off just doing it ourselves like we always have. Feature number 2, electronic throttle control. Once upon a time, pressing the gas pedal meant a direct cable connection to your engine. Instant response, simple mechanics, easy fixes. Today, that same pedal sends a signal to a computer, which decides how much throttle you actually get. It's called electronic throttle control or drive-by-wire, and it adds lag, inconsistency, and a whole new layer of problems. Want to accelerate quickly? Your input goes through a software filter that might hesitate, delay, or misread what you intended. Some cars feel sluggish off the line, and others surge unpredictably. And when the throttle body sensor goes bad, which it will, it can trigger limp mode, cut power entirely, or throw a maze of warning lights. Fixing it isn't a simple swap. It means diagnostics, reprogramming, and potentially hundreds in parts and labor. What used to be mechanical instinct is now digital guesswork. It's not about power anymore. It's about permission. And when the computer says no, there's not much you can do except hope it doesn't happen mid-merge. Feature number 1, automatic high beams. In theory, they're supposed to help brightening your path when the road is dark and dipping the lights when traffic appears. But in practice, automatic high beams are more of a glitch than genius. They flick on too late, flick off too early, or worse. Blind oncoming drivers while you wonder if the system is even paying attention. One speck of dirt on the sensor, and it misreads the whole situation. Fog, rain, or reflections from signs. The system gets confused, and when it malfunctions, you're the one getting flashed or yelled at. That's not just annoying, it's dangerous. Manual control gave you instant, reliable feedback. This system adds delay, overthinking, and yet another layer of tech waiting to fail. Replacement sensors aren't cheap, and recalibration after something as simple as a windshield replacement can set you back anywhere from $300 to $400. Visibility should be under your control, not a gamble based on whether your car's camera is in the mood. What was once a simple flick of a stock is now a risky game of who blinds who. You've just discovered 20 car features that may seem impressive, but secretly damage your car's reliability and shorten its lifespan over time. But what if there are features you're overlooking that actually improve your driving experience? In the next video, I'll reveal hidden car features you'll wish you started using much earlier. So now you know the shiny upgrades car companies push aren't always on your side. In fact, they're quietly draining your wallet and killing your car's reliability. But here on Car Fix Free, we cut through the marketing hype to show you the real truth about cars. What works, what fails, and how to keep your ride lasting decades, not just years. If you don't want to get tricked by fancy features and expensive repairs, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and join thousands of drivers who are finally taking control of their cars. Because at Car Fix Free, the best mechanic your car will ever have is you. Thanks for watching, drive smart, and I'll see you in the next video.